Over the last 20 years, 21 years of my career, I've had the rare privilege of being one of those people who I can say that with the exception of one job, I have been offered every position in which I was able to obtain an interview for. And that doesn't mean I didn't come up against sexism or even ageism, but what I was able to do was overcome it during the interview process. I know that there are a lot of boomers and different people who are now finding themselves having to really hunt for a job. And I've been in that place. I've been laid off. I know what that feels like when you have been the rock star and all of a sudden you're in the back of a cab with your stuff in a box and you're thinking, I don't get laid off, I get promoted. What is happening here? And I know what that devastation feels like. I know what it's like to wake up the next morning and say, where do I begin? So one of the interesting things is that I knew exactly where to begin because I had been on the job hunt and doing my career, and I did a lot of things right. And I had this confidence because every time I got to an interview, I got a job offer of really understanding that I was able to do this. It wasn't until I finally had my first interview where I didn't get the job offer, and and I went back and I was like, why didn't I get it? And it's because as I looked back over what had made me successful, I realized I had created a number of rules and I broke them. And, I knew I didn't have the job when the interviewer fell asleep on me, not once, not even twice, but 3 times. And I'm a pretty animated person. And I realized that it was a gift because I didn't actually want that job in the first place. And that's one of the things that I want to talk to you job hunters about. But before we even get there, it all starts with the application process. And as a person who makes decisions on hiring people, as the person who's been on the other side, putting my applications in, I want to share with you 3 tips that will make the difference for separating you from the competition. So the first thing you need to understand is if you are not having a job right now and you are looking for a job, your full-time job is looking for a job. If you put in part-time effort, with sleeping in the morning and maybe only doing a couple of hours, then you are going to get part-time results. And it is a fierce competition out there. So the first thing you need to understand is every day when you wake up, you need to be getting dressed, you need to be going down and creating your own little office space, and you need to get down to business. So you are going to spend 8 hours a day looking for a job, and that's okay. And you're going to do it the same level of professionalism and meticulousness that you would do in a job. I think one of the things that happens when we're let go of a job, from a job, and our confidence is really shattered is that we forget that what makes us us is that level of professionalism. So, you need to be making spreadsheets of those who you are reaching out to. You need to be, so you tell somebody that you're going to talk to them next Monday, you need to be following up next Monday. But the other part of your 8 hours a day is not just spamming the world, okay? LinkedIn is fantastic, but when you are actually applying for jobs, you have to be intentional. You have to be meaningful. You can't just expect that you're gonna go through and say, apply to, 80 jobs in a day, having not actually researched the company, not actually researched the job, not given it any care or attention, and think that somehow maybe someone will actually take pity on me and give me a job or give me attention. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you do need to apply to jobs you actually want to do. You need to do the research and think, is this a job I would get excited about? And why would I be excited about it? And you need to make sure that when you're applying, that you're making it personal. I can tell you that I get dozens and dozens of job applicants when we're putting up a job posting. And let me tell you how I filter out. I have tiers that happens. I don't even look at you if you haven't sent me a cover letter. That's true. If you haven't taken the time to invest in figuring out what's special about my company and actually researching, then I don't even look at your resume. That's true. The people, because I have so many job applicants to be looking through, the people who immediately go to the top are those people who have actually put my company name in and told me why they would like to join my team, and everybody else disqualified. don't even look at you. So you write me a cover letter, you talk about InspireHUB Technologies, and we're looking at you. Then from that pool of people, the people who actually put a little bit of effort in, we get down into the details. If there's spelling mistakes, you might be the greatest candidate in the world, but you know what? Out, because we have to figure out a way to filter everything. So make sure there's no spelling mistakes. On top of that, we then put a ranking onto the cover letters, which is how personal are they? Some of the things, we get cover letters that are obviously copy and paste. And my favorite is when I see a cover letter that has another company name in it. No, that gets disqualified too. But let me tell you who wins every time and gets through to the next place where we're actually asking for an interview. A person who has actually gone out and researched my company. A person who has picked up on something and I can tell that they've actually done their homework on our company about what makes us us. And they've done something based on something personal, like a LinkedIn post, for example, that I have put out, or a video or something that shows us that they're actually taking an interest. You know, the interesting thing about a relationship with your employer and an employee is you're gonna spend more time with that person in some cases than you do with even loved ones that you might only see on special occasions and Christmas. You're gonna be spending 8 hours a day with these people, and both sides want to know that it's not going to be a miserable experience. In my next post, I'm going to talk about the interview process and what I do in my interview process that is different than everybody else, all the other candidates, that has always resulted in me getting that job offer. Except for that one where the guy fell asleep. That was a good one. All right, happy job hunting.